Hi, I'm Pana Singh. This is a story about meeting Babaji. So this is 1978 December, and having read Yogananda's book, Autobiography of a Yogi, and a couple of my friends had gone to Harakan, I wrote a letter to Babaji, and he said, come to Harakan." And I thought, having read Yogananda's book, that I'd be welcomed as the great disciple coming home to be with Baba once again. So I got to India, I got up to Halavani, Muniraj helped get a guide for me to go up the river. And in those days, you had to walk, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 miles up the river to the ashram. So I come to the ashram and I'm climbing the stairs and I'm thinking, oh, Babaji's going to be so glad to see me. And with open arms, he'll say, oh, come, so glad you're here. He was sitting in the garden, almost ignoring me, basically, because I come up and didn't even look at me. And then I thought, and I see people surrendering and pranaming to him, and I'd never done that before, but I got the courage to do that. And let me say before, I thought I was going to stay here for 3 months, right? And I get up and he looks at me and he says, you stay 2 days. 2 days? I'm thinking, first I was in shock and I think, how can I planned to be here 3 months, but I was in shock, and I was also, his presence was so strong. I was like, 2 days, okay. And then 2 days go by, and he says, you stay 3 more days. And I stayed 3 more days, and I'm becoming like sort of like the joke of the ashram. There wasn't that many people out there. Oh, how many days you got more? You got a couple more days? You can leave it today? All this. So I'm thinking, God, 2 more days. It goes on like this. Finally, really after about 10 days, nearly 2 weeks, I'm getting worn out because I've been going I'm on pins and needles and thinking, how long is it going to last? I can't go on like this. I get to the point one day and I just think, I'm going to stay here. If Babaji kicks me out of the ashram, I'm just going to camp down the river. So I walk up, and I'm living on the other side of the river. In those days, there's no temples. It's just a storage shed with me and another guy in Prem and in the cave below. And I walk up and walk across the river, and with this conviction, I'm just going to stay here. And I see Babaji, and he actually smiles at me for the first time. And he says, you stay as long as you want. So that's the first Babaji story. Babaji story number 2. And there's a German guy we'll call this work. He is Ted Singh, and we're both living together, and everybody knows in an ashram you work in the morning. So I'm working, started off, I'm doing these hard jobs down in the valley floor. I'm moving rocks. There's always moving rocks and preparing bridges and making pools. And so one day I did that, and Ted Singh's up in the garden clipping marigolds, just barely clipping marigolds, doing little, getting a marigold here, a marigold there. And later Babaji that night says, Ted Singh, you did some great work down with the rocks. I want to really, really appreciate that. And I'm thinking, hey, Ted Singh didn't do that. I did that. But I didn't speak up. That's the last thing I'm going to do, right? This goes on the next day. I'm sawing. I mean, these guys, you work with some of the natives, they really work hard. I'm sawing wood all day. Saying the night. And I want to really appreciate it. And Ted Singh's up there like picking little yellow flowers off the yellow leaves off the garden flowers. I'm not working up a sweat at all. That night, Babaji says, you did a really good job, Ted Singh, with the cutting the wood. And the next day, this happens for 4 days. So the third day, I'm actually going to walk up 2 miles up the river and bringing back some logs. Again, Ted Singh, I don't know what he was doing. I think he clipped 3 or 4 marigolds in the garden and sat there the rest of the time. And I said, hey, Babaji, just again, Ted Singh, such great work. And because I couldn't say anything, but it's me. So the next day, I get to the point somehow in meditation, Boli Baba Ki Jai, that I'm thinking to myself, I don't care if Babaji's, I don't care. I don't need to do that. I'm not doing this for Babaji. I don't care. I'm doing this as service. I find out this is just service, and if Babaji says something or he doesn't say anything, who cares? And of course, that day was doing rocks, and I think we were making a tea house, starting to make a tea house out of rocks down in the riverbed. And that night, Babaji looks at me and says, Pana Singh did some great work down the riverbed today. Go. Boli Baba Ki Jai. So again, this is Pana Singh, 1978. So the background information would be in 1978 in the Ashram, or maybe early 79. Actually, it was early 70s, January, February. Is you ate one meal a day, and there was a tea house that had some tea in the morning and the afternoon or early evening, and maybe stale samosas, and that was about it. So you live for that one meal. But fortunately, one day Babaji said to us, Ted Singh, another guy, "We got some business for you in Delhi, and you could go down to Delhi for 1-2 days. Come down for a night, stay there, do the business, and come back." And I'm thinking to myself, great, I'm going to Delhi. And I had met this Indian stewardess that we had sort of talked, and I had her number, and I thought, oh, wow, I get to have a hot date in Delhi, and this will be so cool. And anyway, so we take the bus down to into Delhi, and I get off in the streets of Delhi, and the smells, the colors, and all the food vendors, and give me a jalebi or whatever. And I'm taking that, and there's some sweets over here. Let me take that. I'm just, after all this discipline for about 6 or 7 weeks, I've lost it. I'm taking anything I can get. And then I call I can't remember her name, and call her up, and we'll get together for dinner. And she had a girlfriend, another friend. We thought, we'll have a little, go out, have some fun. Well, that was in the afternoon. Early evening, I got sicker than a dog. I mean, I'm throwing up. It's coming, diarrhea, and I couldn't even move. So I had to cancel the date. I was looking for anyway. Canceled the date. Couldn't. I was just really sick. Barely made it through the night. Got on a bus the next day going up back to Babaji. Still, I'm sick. And then we have to walk up the river, right, to get to the ashram. So I'm starting to walk up the river, and, Boli Babaji, I'm sure it wasn't my idea. I think, well, maybe I should drink. This is holy water. I should start drinking the water out of the river. So every time we cross the river, I start drinking the water. And I'm starting to feel a little better. And I go to the next place, because this must cross the river 7 or 8 times. I have some more water now. Not too bad. Anyway, I do this, and it seems like it is not only seems like it's happened. Every time I drink some water, I'm getting closer to ashram. I'm feeling better, and by the time I turn, and we see the ashram come around standing above you. We come around the final bend in the river. I have some water, and I'm feeling healthy again. And we come up, and then Babaji's there, and he says, "Oh, you have a good trip?" And that was it. So I was so glad to be back. Yeah. Hello, Boli Babaji. Pana Singh. It's Heracon, 1979. And this is not really a story, but it's like an experience that I think a lot of people have had. So in the winter of 79, there were very few devotees in the ashram, especially in the weekdays. So Babaji would come down in the afternoon, and there was another guy, Ted Singh, a German guy, and we sort of had the job of taking him across 2 bridges that were there. I don't know why. He let us, I guess we had to go through the water, and we would carry him. We have our hands out like this, and the other guy would have his hand. Babaji would sit, and we'd carry him across the river. But what was very interesting is every day Babaji appeared to weigh less or more. Sometimes it was almost as like you were carrying a feather across the river. I said, geez, what's this? Look at Ted Singh. Do you feel what I'm feeling? Then he'd be gone, But the next day it'd be like carrying a huge stone. Oh my God, Babaji, man, what's the matter with you? Come on, Baba! And you get over. And some days it'd be sort of in between. And it was the dumbfoundedest thing for us, both of us. Like, what experience? How would Babaji be today as we got a chance to carry him across the river? And we never know. And it was just, like I say, it was from a feather to a huge boulder, and quite an experience. And I don't think it was anyway. It was a mystery, and we're still trying to figure it out. Boli Babaji.